Hi, Greg.
Hi there, you guys.
How you doing?
Hi, Glenn. Long time no talk, my friend.
Yeah,
Nice
how's
seeing you.
work?
Oh, it's
Busy?
yeah, it's been busy, Glenn. Yeah, but I'm still staying here. Yeah,
Okay.
thanks, Glenn. Yeah, I missed a couple of things recently. I get it. I hope to get an update from you someday down the road. Yeah, good to see you guys. Nice weather these days, really.
Yeah. So you back working in the office
Well,
with,
we're
with most of your crew? No. They're avoiding you.
Yeah, I gotta do something about it. I'm here all the time.
Yeah.
It's a new way of working. It's got some benefits too, but it's hard to collaborate sometimes.
Uh-huh. So you doing any school district work this summer?
Oh, yes. Well, we got a couple of those too, but we're working on a high school project. It's a big master plan,
Uh-huh.
$300 million needs, but they can only afford 32, 35 for the first phase.
Yeah.
We got
Which
this,
school district?
it's in the East Bay. I don't want to be on the record here and
Oh, okay.
cause other issues, but yeah, we have a beautiful outdoor. Oh, hi, John.
Hi, John.
Hello, everyone.
John.
It was. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we
Okay.
can hear you, Nancy.
Sorry, I'm using a different headset. I will start recording and we can start.
Okay, I guess everybody who's going to be here is here this evening.
Okay.
So let's start tonight's meeting. It is July 13th, 2022, and this is the Lafayette Design Review Commission. Commissioners present, roll call, Glenn,
Glenn Cass here.
Eugene,
Here.
and John Gray is here. Kristen Seidel and Armin Hadalou are excused absence this evening.
Okay.
Regarding the agenda, we have an agenda this evening. I think we may need to adjust the agenda because we will not have a quorum for one of the agenda items, maybe two, actually. On the consent calendar, with Kristen and Armin absent this evening, I don't believe we have a quorum to approve the draft meeting minutes for May 25th, nor do we have a quorum for the item 3721 land LLC regarding the 3721 Mount Diablo Boulevard project. So I believe we have to continue those to our subsequent meeting.
Okay.
With that amendment, is the agenda acceptable? Does someone want to make a motion?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to accept
I'll second
with
it.
the amendments.
Yeah, with the changes.
Okay, then all in favor, Glenn,
Aye.
Eugene,
Aye.
and John in favor as well. Thank you. So we're just talking about that, but after the agenda adoption, we have a opportunity for public comments for items not on this or an upcoming agenda, but within the purview of this commission. Nancy, is there anyone waiting to make a public comment?
If anyone would like to make public comment, please use the raise hand function. I'm seeing no hands raised.
All right, thank you, Nancy. The next item on our agenda is special recognition, and I will turn that over to our planning director, Greg Wolf.
Nancy, would you please bring in Danielle as a panelist? Thank you.
Danielle should be in.
Hi, Danielle. You're a panelist. You're welcome to turn off your mute, unmute, and turn on your camera if you would like. Otherwise, we're happy to proceed.
I'm here. I'm not used to being on camera, so
I know.
I'm feeling a little bit awkward. I'm used to being a fly on the wall.
So I was telling others earlier that you would attend in person all of the meetings
Wow.
up to the pandemic, but since then you haven't been on camera, but have.
Yeah.
So it's my pleasure on behalf
Well,
of.
I have to say that since it's been on Zoom, I have joined the meeting with normal here. I've just put down the pen and the notepad.
Very
I
good.
also have next to me a beautiful array of flowers that showed up on my doorstep this afternoon. So for that, I'm much appreciative.
Well, I'm glad you got them, and it's a small token of our enormous appreciation for
Yes.
more than 26 years of service to the community and the Design Review Commission. So a proclamation has been prepared, and I spoke with the mayor earlier. She sends her regrets that she was not able to attend due to a prior obligation, but sends her warmest regards to you. And you will be receiving a hard copy of a proclamation, which says, whereas Danielle Signorella has diligently served the city of Lafayette, the Design Review Commission, and other commissions and the citizens of Lafayette since September 5th, 1995, which was over 26 years and 9 months ago. And whereas Danielle has, in her time with the city, attended over 600 public meetings, witnessed 5 presidents, 30 mayors, 3 city managers, and innumerable commissioners and staff. And whereas Danielle, in her time with the city, has consistently attended meetings in person in nearly a dozen different rooms throughout the city, all with hard chairs. Whereas Danielle has listened to the meetings in real time, and then has listened to the recordings of each meeting, and sometimes multiple times. Whereas Danielle has employed steno pads, cassette tapes, MP3 recorders, and online recordings to capture the commission's proceedings. No 8-track tapes.
Has improved, yes.
Whereas Danielle has prepared meeting minutes totaling over 10,000 pages and 5 million words.
Wow.
Whereas Danielle has successfully and succinctly summarized the eloquent and at times verbose comments of the Design Review Commissioners.
I did not say that.
Someone wrote that, so I had to read it. Whereas Danielle has made countless commissioners, including Tim Ward, Ken Hertel, Tom Lee, and Bob Cleaver, sound articulate in retrospect in the meeting minutes. Whereas Danielle has demonstrated her dedication to the community and her willingness to go the extra mile to ensure the record of the Design Review Commission is complete, accurate, and understandable. And whereas Danielle and her family have been longtime valued residents of Lafayette. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the city of Lafayette acknowledges and expresses its deep appreciation to Danielle Signorella for more than 26 years contributing to this community, and we honor her on this day. Thank you,
Wow.
Danielle.
Thank you.
Boy, you made me sound really good.
I think
Well,
it's so true. Thank you.
I was trying to think of descriptive words just for me in thinking about you, and the word exceptional came to mind because your minutes truly have been the Goldilocks of minutes. Having read many, they're neither too long nor too short. They hit the important points. They're clear, and you know, it's. I'm a stickler and a perfectionist and will redline extensively, but in reading your minutes, I would read set after set after set and have no edits. And so thank you. It's fabulous.
I have to give a lot of credit to Clay Fry, who was also a stickler when I first started doing the minutes. And so I became very conscious of being as accurate as possible. Just for my own thing, you know, to get minutes approved by Clay was a big deal back in the day.
Well, thank you.
Good. Yeah. So
Well,
Chair, we will convey the proclamation to Danielle, but since it is an item on the agenda, please do offer public comment to anyone who would like to say any words. Nope.
I have a couple of hands raised. Been trying to promote Narup, but I'm having trouble, so I'm going to allow her to talk as an attendee.
Looks like Narup is coming in.
Danielle, good evening and good evening,
Hello,
Commissioner.
Nerd.
There's so much to say about you, Danielle. You have been such a rock for us for the last 26 years. I was trying to think, okay, if I had to choose top two things about Danielle, it was difficult, but here are mine. One is, as Greg said, staff reviews pages and pages of minutes every week, from council to planning commission to DRC. And I would always be so relieved when I got your minutes because frankly, I didn't even have to look at them. They were perfect. So you saved us a lot of time. Thank you. The second is, Danielle, I don't know the kind of skill that you have. You made us all sound more intelligent than we actually are. So, you translated architectural lingo into a language that everyone could understand. So we owe you an enormous debt of gratitude. And your record will remain in Lafayette's history forever. Thank you so much. And I also send Betsy's love and hugs to you.
Oh, well, Betsy was the lady who hired me, so a lot of credit to her.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. Well, wonderful to work with all of you.
Thank you.
And I've often said that Lafayette's best decision was to make you city manager in Narup. So
thank you. Thank you so much.
I will next promote Betsy. She's also raised her hand.
Oh, she's here. Good.
she figured it out. Okay.
For the design review commissioners, Betsy Van Poppering was our senior planner for many, many years. you will find her signature on many approvals.
Okay. There we go. And I think-
We can hear you, Betsy.
Well, that's good. I have my assistant here.
Ah, there you are.
Congratulations, and you've done a year longer than I did there, and I am so happy.
Ah,
that
I
you're-
didn't realize I had beaten your record. Okay.
Well, you have, and you're retiring with some years to do something. And your trip to Europe, I hope, happens eventually.
Eventually, yes. Thank you.
I know the commission that's seated right now won't have a clue who I am, but I do take some pride in remembering hiring Danielle and sitting next to her during so many meetings. And you have a sense of humor that made the meetings worthwhile for me. So thank you.
I always admired the poker face of staff and the commission because I didn't have one, which is why I would sort of sit in the back of the room so my facial expressions didn't belie my feelings about certain speakers that were before the commission. So.
Well, yeah, you have to get a thin skin and leave, or you have to get a thick skin and a poker face and let the world roll the way it wants to roll.
That's right. That's right.
Whatever
Well,
that means, doesn't
you did
matter.
beautifully for so many years, Betsy, and I enjoyed every year of working with you.
Well, congratulations and enjoy those flowers. They'll last a few more days, I'm sure.
Thank you. Well, I will enjoy every minute of them.
And that proclamation, it left out something. This should be your day. They should have proclaimed this your day. I might set a letter of complaint to the mayor, but we'll wait and see. But good luck to everybody there. It's so good to see your faces.
It's lovely to see you, Betsy. Thank
Bye.
you.
There is one more hand raised, and it's Tom Lee.
Well, I just wanted to show my face and say good luck to you, Danielle, and thank you for staying up late with us night after night after night and still only take up 2 pages of notes. We could talk for hours at a time. And I do wish you well. And it's
Thank you.
nice to
Tom.
see you again, and Betsy too. Haven't seen you in a long time. And hello, John. Haven't seen you in a while too.
Hello, Tom. It's been a little bit.
Thank you.
It was always easy to transcribe what you had to say, Tom, because it was clear and succinct and
But you changed the words. The words I was using were a little different. Thank you very much for cleaning it up.
And those are all the raised hands. So there's one more I thought I just saw. It's no longer there.
Okay.
Oh, actually, sorry, Tim Ward. He's raised his hand again.
Okay, well, can you guys hear me?
yeah.
Yes,
Okay, because too bad Betsy left because, Danielle brought in the era of the getting rid of the stone tablets, which Betsy was the principal for. She carved out her minutes and things. So, so I wish I could have ragged on her a little bit, but I'm sorry she's gone. Betsy, I hope you hear that though. Yeah, Danielle, I mean, I didn't realize that actually I was on Design Review not that long before you started. I mean, of course, you were really young. You were like a teenager. And the thing that I noticed a lot was that I sounded much more intelligent in your minutes when I was a commissioner than when I was an applicant later on in my life. as an applicant, you made me really sound like an idiot. So I understand that. I understand that works, but
Well, yeah, the role was different,
yeah, I know. But anyway, you were terrific, and it's great to see all these faces. It's really nice. That's all I got.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate that.
Okay, well, Danielle, thanks so much. You and I never did get to meet face to face, but the thanks are heartfelt across the board.
Well, I just want to say that I really, having spent all that time with the Design Review Commission, I really appreciate the job that you all do for the city. And while I got paid for it, you guys don't. And so I appreciate it even more, the dedication that you have to the job, and you make Lafayette a wonderful place to live, and keep it moving in the right direction. And the planning staff is excellent and wonderful people, and I've enjoyed every single one of them. I wish I could list all their names. It's been so many, but I'll miss the job. I wish my successor all the best. I will tune in when I see an agenda that looks interesting. I'll be that fly on the wall on YouTube, checking out what's going on.
Thank you.
Thank you for the acknowledgement. It means a lot.
Thank you, Danielle.
Thanks, Naru.
Yeah, thank you very much,
Still
Danielle.
there.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Danielle.
Really appreciate your service. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well then, moving on our agenda, Greg and Nancy, there are a couple of introductions this evening.
I am happy to introduce two new folks to the commission. Noah Ramboa is a new planning technician with the city of Lafayette, and I think he is on the call. Nancy, if you bring him in, he could show his face and say hello, and the commissioners can greet him. And then the other is Nicole Byer, who's contracted to be the new minute taker for the Design Review Commission. I don't see her on the meeting, on the call, so I'll take the opportunity to introduce her at another time. Welcome, Noah.
Welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
I know.
So I don't think Noah has, or do you have any items on tonight's agenda?
He does. He has a second study session.
Oh, very good. So you'll hear from Noah shortly.
Welcome, Noah, and looking forward to working with you.
Yes, indeed. Welcome.
Thank you. I look forward to working with all of you as well.
Okay, well, continuing with our agenda, both of the consent calendar items have to be continued to next meeting, as we discussed, due to not having a quorum for those items. So the next item on the agenda are study sessions. The first of which is SS 0722, the Brennan House at 3450 Little Lane. And Nancy is our planner.
The item before you is study session 0722 for Brennan, seeking some design feedback for the proposed additions onto an existing two-story home at 3450 Little Lane, which is located at the end of the cul-de-sac. The developed 1.12 acre lot abuts the Lafayette Moraga Trail to the west and slopes up from the street towards the southeast and down near the northwest corner. The project proposes to construct approximately 2,300 square feet of additions at the first and second floors to create a 6,200 square foot home and increase the roof height from 22 feet 3 inches to 27 and a half feet to accommodate for the additions. The additions are shown outlined in red. None of the work will be located in the class 2 ridge line setback, but the entire property is located within Hillside Development, Hillside Overlay District. After cursory review of the preliminary plan, the project will require Hillside Development Permit, design review for height exceeding 17 feet and 6,000 square feet total, and possibly grading permit and tree permit, depending on the information that is, will be provided when they do submit their application. Staff received no public comment on the project for the study session, actually. And this is the proposed massing of the existing entry in the rear, as well as the addition location. Since this is a study session, no formal action is required. This concludes my presentation.
Thanks, Nancy. Commissioners, questions for Nancy?
None by me.
Eugene, nothing? So Nancy, I do have a question. In reading your report, a portion of it talked about the hillside development permit and the 15-degree declination regulation. Could you explain for us and the public how that applies here?
More information will be needed. That was a possible request that they may need, depending on the information that's provided later on. The plans that they provided are more conceptual, and it's missing some pertinent information that will be required when they do actually submit for the hillside development permit.
So I suggest that you and the applicant have some discussion about exactly what might be required there.
Okay.
So I did not have other questions. So with that, the applicant is invited to make their presentation.
Okay, I am promoting Mark Kenny, James Gray. As well as Alan Page. Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong applicant. Sorry. Mark Brennan and Stephen Antoneros.
Hello.
Evening.
Hi, I'm Mark Brennan. This is my wife, Carmelita Brennan, and we've been in Lafayette now about 11 years. We moved into our home 11 years ago, and we really love our home, our house. You know, it's like a lot of homes in the area. It's sort of unbelievably, it's coming up on 50 years old, and there's some creaks and cracks and things that sort of need to be addressed. And while we're doing that, we thought, well, maybe we can remodel the home a little bit. The living area is a little cramped. We have two school-age children, and I think we just wanted to kind of modernize the home a little bit. We also find ourselves with both sets of the kids' grandparents still with us, and we're very fortunate for that. And I think, unfortunately for everyone involved, they're getting a little bit older, and we'd probably like the flexibility of having, them around, whether to live with us or to stay with us. And that's kind of where we find ourselves right now.
And I'm Steve Antoneros. I'm the architect for Mark and Carmelita. And I've actually done a lot of work for the family. Mark's father is a famous contractor, and he's done lots of work. So this house is an old 70s, in good shape. It's a fairly large house. It's a bit oddly, not efficiently laid out. So there's a lot of space that's not used by the family. So we're doing some reorganizing the spaces and enlarging them pretty much around the perimeter. So it does calculate out to be a lot of square footage, but we're adding bits and pieces that are just enlarging all around. Mainly it's very large family room. Should I share screen of plans? Yes. Or yes? Okay.
Yes.
And that would be, I think, this one. Is that working?
You see it.
You see it, good. So this is the main floor above, and the garage level is just one floor below with the addition. Sorry, I should probably go back. That's what's being proposed. This is the existing. There's the crosshatched areas are the additions. And you can see there's a little piece here. We're adding an elevator. That's for the grandparents, more visiting. And a little bump out here to add a bathroom to the bedroom. And then this kind of larger area is we'll be reshaping this whole family room kitchen area to be a larger family room, and a kitchen relocated up here. And then we're just making little additions to the entry to make it a little more comfortable. On the lower level, we're extending out the garage. They have some difficulty getting up that steep driveway and making the turn in. So we're bringing it out a little bigger to make that easier. And then this will be part of the sort of side entry through an elevator to get up to the main level. This is a little bump out here on this level. And then this will be addition of a bedroom bath here. This I'm calling an addition, but it's currently space that is enclosed. It's like a crawl space. We'll just be expanding it. So the addition, we're not really doing any major landscape work around. The main piece of work is this long retaining wall, which is just 6 feet high, and that'll create some level area in this otherwise very sloped site where there's not a lot of yard area. And their two boys are getting large. They'll be needing more exercise space. This is the addition here, the outline of it reconfigured, pretty much leaving these parts of the house alone, and the master bedroom existing alone, and just these little additions here on the front. There'll be a roof covering over that addition below. That's the extent of those additions. And here's the downstairs is the new bedroom bath with a reshaped bedroom and an additional bath there. And then this sort of space that's not used very much is going to be improved to be more a second family room, playroom area. And then this is the garage expanded with a new storage area down here and the secondary exit with an elevator to the upstairs. It's really just a 2-story house still. The ceiling roof here is going to be a little higher, but that's it. This is the existing roof plan and the roof with the additions and the new family room. I think you've seen those. And let's see, I had the sections through the site. I don't think I have the right plan here. Sorry, give me a minute. Yes. Right, this one, okay. No, sorry, I had sections, site sections. I sent those to Nancy, I know. Okay, well, sorry. Well, I don't know, are there any questions at this point?
Commissioner, questions for the applicant?
None for me.
No, I don't have much either. Looks pretty straightforward. So it's a heavily forested area and a lot of vegetation. In the contextual map, I think I saw the closest house was, can you go to more of a context map, Stephen, where that's the only thing, and it's heavily forested and I think it's well vegetated area, but like the closest house and anything nearby, I just want to make sure where they might be again. I know you had a site plan.
I know.
And I don't have problems with it, but just record that we did look at it, right? So,
yes. Apologies here, I'm not finding that one. I know Nancy asked me to add an additional drawing, and I did, and I can't seem to locate that one now.
This is Carmelita. I don't know if this would be helpful to look at. There was an aerial footage of our house on one of the PowerPoint slides.
Sure. Yeah.
So that might give you an idea of the distance.
I can share that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oops, I was going with my.
Yeah, that one above is the closest, I think.
So there's no one behind us.
Yeah.
And then to the east, the house is a little farther. I guess you can't actually see it from that screen, but they're pretty. I mean, if we really try, we can see her house. But
yeah.
Other than that, the people who are north of us, they're kind of below us.
Yeah. No worries.
Across the trail, I guess you could consider them our neighbor. The Los Trampas is quite a distance off.
Yeah. I think this is fine. Just wanted to, make sure we had on record conversation with that. We ask all the applicants same question about this matter. So, okay.
I do have, I have up these sections that are in my, this is straight off my computer program. So that's, let's see, this is a better overall.
Oh, there you go.
And you can see it's up here. It's really is completely ensconced in forested area. You can't see the house from down here.
Right.
You do get a shot of that driveway that climbs up very steeply, but yeah, it's sort of completely invisible. And the section, sorry, here. So this is the nearest neighbor down below. You can see just the roof is, top of the roof is below the house. And that's the shape of the land right there. How we're going, and then this is the other section, and the height above it.
Yeah. And overlaid with vegetation and cross section, it'd probably be even more compelling as well, right? If you looked at this cross section with all the trees and vegetation.
Yeah, I'm showing that sort of lightly sketched out there, but they're very spindly oaks mainly. There's not a lot of very large diameter oaks. So, but they're very thick, closely planted or spaced, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Chair. That's the only concern I had. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Great.
Okay, then with that, we can open this to public comments, if any. Public may comment for up to 3 minutes each, if there are any. Nancy? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry about that. If anyone has any comments on this, please use the raise hand function. There are none.
Okay. Then there'll be no need for rebuttal, huh? Then we can move right on to commissioner comments. Eugene or Glenn, would either of you like to start?
Yeah, I could start. Glenn always starts, so let me just volunteer this one. But I really don't have a lot to say, except that this project fits into a very forested, heavily vegetated area, and that as we just talked about, the closest neighbor is a certain area that is not going to be seen. But I want to make sure that in your cross section, because I think you have more vegetation, trees in that midst, and maybe you should just replicate that idea there as well. It's not just an open field looking down at that neighbor's property, I think, in all fairness to you as well, right? I would like to see in the next go around further articulation of, because this is matching your character of the house that you have currently, and you're trying to blend in and integrate seamlessly to that already demonstrated and proven, timelessness of your family having that dwelling there. I would like to see more articulation though, like in the window areas, because it's going to be in the detail that we would get even further value of the design effort to help Brennan family enjoy and do your beautiful work, Steve. So more articulation in the door, trims, we'd like to see those. Obviously, we always ask for material color board, and you'll have that probably when you are ready to do so. Again, I know this is not the time for questioning, but I'd like to understand your strategy in terms of the size and the form of the window. I get it, it's functional, and you have certain type of window sizes to allow and accommodate the daylight and the beautiful vista of that forested area you want to look out for your family. But I'd like to see how you can assemble the language of all the window pattern in a way that would be more succinct, and to be able to hear from you, Steve, right, about your idea, if I may say so, poetic idea behind the window placements in your additional extension that you want to do seamlessly. That's all. And please be careful with roof vents and vent, the flues, right? And those kind of things, they bother us sometimes. So, it will bother me. So make sure those are integrated. Okay, that's about it. And the detail around the guardrail and the deck, these are things that we'll be looking for. Okay. And then I think on your contextual map, please make sure you have that contextual map next time. So we have a proven record that just like any other applicant that you have done so as well, right? Cross section, more trees, more vegetation that is more representative of the existing condition. That would be helpful. Yeah. And the landscape plan, right? And lighting plan. Okay. Thank you. Glenn, you're next. Do the chair.
Go ahead, Glenn.
I don't have many comments. I mean, it's a pretty simplistic project. I mean, when I look at it at elevations, it's sometimes I question, like on the front entrance, I realize you put very large windows up at the top there that face all the way to the family room. To me, that isn't that appealing. But on the other hand, they're so far back in the structure that on the ground, you wouldn't actually hardly even see them. So they're functioning more for light than they are for the aesthetics of what they do for the facade. But I agree with Eugene, is that it raises the questions because a lot of the existing windows are small and narrow, and it really makes the new ones really look out of size compared to them. But otherwise, I have no problems. Like Eugene said, we'll be looking forward to seeing the color board and what changes you're going to make in regards to color for the facility. But it's so heavily treed there that, it's not much of an issue. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Glenn. I agree with generally with Eugene and Glenn's comments, and to Eugene's, really, I mean, drawings about the context and what other people see from off the property, I think is in my view, the most significant concern we look at. Thank you, Nancy, for requesting the site sections. I think developing those to help us understand what would be visible from your nearest neighbors, and presumably it's going to be little or nothing, but just to demonstrate that would be very helpful. Other than that, it looks like a project that is, fairly low impact and manageable. So we look forward to seeing its development.
Great. Okay, thanks. That's all.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, moving on to the next item on our agenda. This is the Gray House, which is at 3445 Moraga Boulevard. And I should say that the gray involved in this project is no relation to me. I needn't recuse myself this time. And so Noah is our planner. So Noah, welcome.
Hello, Design Review Commission. Give me a moment while I share my screen, please. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
All right. Good evening, members of the Design Review Commission. My name is Noah. I'm a planning technician with the City of Lafayette. And today I will be presenting on a study session request for new additions at an existing single-family residence at 3445 Moraga Boulevard. Just for some context, the project is located on an existing single-family site at the southern end of the intersection of Moraga Boulevard and 3rd Street. The neighborhood surrounding this house is mostly single-family, single-story houses. However, it is prudent to note that there are some 2-story single-family houses in the area, particularly this one right here, which is 2 houses north of the subject site. And then there are also some 2-story houses as well, just a block away at the intersection of Moraga Boulevard and Monroe Avenue. The project proposes to construct 3 new additions to this existing single-family house. There are some new additions to the garage and to the first floor, one on the eastern end of the house right here, one on the top of an existing deck in the rear of the property, and then a new half-story addition on top of the existing house as well. The applicant did provide some photos and a rendering of what the proposed additions would look like. As you can see, the existing house is a single-story house with a maximum visible height of about 13 feet 8 inches when viewed from Moraga Boulevard. With the proposed additions, the new house would be 1.5 stories, and it would have a maximum visible height of about 25 feet when viewed from Moraga Boulevard. So this would be the view and the height that people would see when looking at the house, whether they're passing by or just walking around the neighborhood. However, if you read the staff report, you might have noticed that it does mention that the house has a maximum height of about 33 feet. And this is because, as you can see in this proposed elevation, as you move towards the rear of the property, there is this downward slope into Las Trampas Creek. And so because of that, there's this lower foundation grade, and that's what causes this 33-foot height. So I just wanted to clarify that in case there's like any questions about that. Following the publication of the staff report, but prior to this meeting, staff did receive one public comment from the neighbor right next door who was concerned about the new half-story addition, mainly because of impacts to privacy and also to their property values. And so with that, staff recommends that the commission reviews the proposal and provides feedback to the applicant regarding the design and how it fits into the neighborhood. That concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions, and the applicant and the owner are here as well.
All right, thanks very much, Noah. Commissioner questions for Noah?
None. None.
So Noah, I do have a question. In your staff report, it was mentioned that this project is requesting a variance. Could you explain the variance being asked?
Yeah, so the existing house is existing non-conforming. It encroaches on the front setback and the western side setback. And so because of this, the new additions would also encroach on those setbacks. And so when a formal application is submitted, they would need to apply for a variance to be able to encroach.
Does the plan that you show show the setback encroachment? Could we see that one more time?
Yeah, I can share that real quick. So if we look here, there is a 5-foot setback right here. This dash line shows the setback. And so the existing house is encroaching on that setback. And then there's a 20-foot front setback. And so the existing house is also encroaching on that. And so the addition right here is encroaching, and the addition back here is encroaching.
Okay, I see. Thank you, Noah. That's very helpful.
Okay. So Noah, through the chair, Noah, so just to get us synced up here, when the encroachment has already been grandfathered by the way it has been laid out, but that the additions now have been proposed, now we have to reconsider and go through the findings to have that addressed. Is that what has to happen, right?
Yes. So because the additions are encroaching, that's what requires the variance.
Yeah. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. If there are no other questions for Noah, we can invite the applicant to make their presentation for up to 10 minutes.
I'm promoting Alan Page, James Gray, and Mark Penny.
Hey, good evening. Which one of you would like to start?
I have a few slides prepared. I don't know if Jim wants to say anything before we start. Or do you want us to just dive in, Jim?
James Gray hand raised. So please proceed.
Quite sure what I'm doing wrong here. Oh, there we go. How's everyone doing tonight?
Evening.
I'm a little bit of a newbie on the Zoom, so sorry for that. So I guess I don't have a ton of presentation. I guess I'd say that I think prior to starting this, we met with the city engineer, and his findings based on how Las Trampas Creek kind of bends around is the whole reason why we proposed what we are proposing. I am a little bewildered at the moment because the neighbors who I met with and shared the same plans that you guys are looking at today have obviously felt like they misunderstood or something like that, which is very odd to me. But they have seen the plans, and we presented the exact same plans, same floor plan that you're seeing tonight. So I think that's my main, the reason they asked a question about putting the garage over the creek, but we can't put the creek with the creek setback, and we can't put it on that side because of the creek setback and the height from the center of the creek on over. So that was kind of, we met with the engineer prior to starting anything to kind of figure out what the parameters we could fit on such a odd shaped lot with such a small house. I appreciate your time, and I'll let Mark take it from there.
All right. And there may be sometimes Alan was the lead designer on this. So I have a few presentation slides, and then if there's questions, there may be times Alan might need to chime in. He may be a little more intimately familiar with some of the design solutions than myself. So can I share my screen?
Please do.
Okay, can everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay, so we have just 3 slides, keeping things at a pretty high level, and then we can look through the drawings in a little more detail if necessary. But as Jim just mentioned, you know, it's a constrained site. It's an oddly shaped site. We have the creek setback is constraining things. The topography, when we start to slope down toward the creek, is constraining things. But the existing house is very small by today's standards. I mean, it's 2-bedroom and it's tiny. It doesn't really have an adequate living space. So the goal here really is just to make a livable home by today's standards. 3 bedrooms with a kitchen, a living room, and a dining room. So with the constraints, there's, as Noah mentioned, there's an existing deck here, but you know, with the setbacks, there's some room to grow here. We've got the driveway area and a little bit of flat area over here. So there's a little room to grow over here as well. So we captured those areas, and then going up is our only other option. So as Noah mentioned, there's a family room addition here. We grew over this way to accommodate a new garage. And then we went up to get another couple of bedrooms. So knowing that we were going up, we went around the neighborhood. We have a little key down here, was in the set of drawings, just to, you know, make sure we're being contextual to the extent possible. And we looked around the neighborhood, saw that there were other examples of 2-story homes. It's not unprecedented. And so then just thought about how do we execute this to be as sensitive as possible to scale and the scale of the neighborhood and the context. And so the design solution is to approach the 2-story or 1.5-story section as kind of a Cape Cod design. so that we have really just a single story wall addressing the street, and then using dormers on the front facade, and then a larger shed dormer on the rear. So if we look at, again, the execution that I'm talking about, this Cape Cod approach, so our half story up here, this addresses the street really as single story. Here's the rear elevation. Use a shed dormer on the back so that we don't have a 2-story stacking wall. Kept the roof pitch quite low on the family room addition, keep the scale down. And if you look on the side elevations, we've minimized 2-story walls. This is the elevation facing the neighbors. They talked about privacy. There are no upper bedroom windows on the new addition on the upper level that would look into their property. So we were conscious of that and tried to minimize impact on them. And in terms of, so we talked about the Cape Cod, minimal 2-story walls, few windows facing neighbor, varied roof lines to break down the scale, keep it in the scale and character of the neighborhood. And then the plan is to go with, traditional colors and material, actually the same color scheme as the existing, the gray and white and some black accents, and just keep it simple. So that's the approach. I don't know if there's things you want to look at specifically on the plans, or if everyone has had a chance to look at the plans prior to the meeting, but I do have the plan set here if we need to refer to any specific plans.
Okay.
I don't know, Alan, if you have anything you'd like to add.
Yeah, I'll chime in. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll just address a couple things. It was my intention, and we'll double check this, the additions that we did to the rear of the house for the living area, I actually, if you enlarge it, I purposely offset it from the existing wall, and maybe it's not showing that clearly there.
Yeah,
So
I'll get the plan.
Yeah, so that it is 5 feet from the property line. The part that encroaches into that setback is a fireplace at the living room, and I can be corrected, but I think fireplaces and overhangs can still encroach into that space. And then I did the same thing upstairs with the dormer addition. I did not go all the way to that outside wall. I purposely held it in to the 5 feet so that it will be conforming, and we'll verify this. And if it's not so, I think we can make it so. Regarding the front, yeah, I think we wanted to have some articulation to that view. So I actually have the front of the garage pulled forward a couple of feet so that we can have that gable over the garage, just to not look at just roof. It's a lot of roof there. And I think it's important on the style of the architecture. Again, I chose the Cape Cod style because even though it's taller, the roof lays back, and we minimize the vertical wall sections. And then by articulating with small dormers, I can get that stair, snuck in there and bring some natural light down into the front living area. I can make the garage conforming by pushing it back to the 20 feet, which would be kind of that middle section dash line where it's inset between the Cape Cod house and the garage. And we can straighten that out, but it would take away the gable over the garage door, and I think it'd be less interesting. But there is some play there that if that's important to everybody, I think we can do it. Jim might be a little unhappy when he brings his big pickup truck home. It'll be a little tighter to get in there. So that's just addressing the variances there. I think we're trying to conform, and I think if it's important to everybody to not have that, then we'll take a hard look at that when we come back to you.
But we think this line here on the lower level addition and the upper is conforming, and these dormers across here are conforming. Are they, Alan?
Yes, they are.
Yeah. So really, in the addition, it's just this piece.
Correct. Well, 6 inches of piece between them. Yeah, that needs to move 6 inches. That centerpiece.
This piece too.
Yeah, it's 6 inches off.
Right. And then it's the fireplace issue.
Yeah. And again, going back to the style of the architecture, I think in older neighborhoods like this, there's a lot of character, a lot of homes. Some were traditional. If you look at the one on 963 4th Street, very similar with the steep roof, dormer and gable. that you're seeing in our proposal, although I didn't see that as I was designing it. And I think the best thing with this type of home, when you look at it straight on in 2D, it looks tall, but the reality is that roof lays back, and from the naked eye at street level, it will not appear as tall. And we chose not to do anything very minimal coming to the front, just again, not to overpower the neighbor home to the right. So I'll leave it at that, and then we'll just answer any questions you might have.
Okay, thanks very much. Commissioner, questions for the applicant? Anyone?
I do.
Eugene.
Through the chair, Alan and Mark, can you, do you have any drawings, and not only photographs? I can see some of it, but can you do you have a drawing that shows the adjacent neighbor's property aligned to be able to analyze the massing and adjacency profile between this project and the one on the right side where the fireplace is? Because that's the part that I'm most sensitive about, looks like, because the neighbor would see the highest wall out of your project. Do you have any drawings to show us that relationship?
We do not have any drawings that show the neighbor's house in relation to this at this point, no.
Okay, we'll need to see that. Okay, the dormer. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I think we'll come back with a better textual map, as you said in the previous submission.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to point out, I believe that's a one-story house there, and there's a big, what is it, Jim, 5 or 6 foot solid fence between the two properties plus vegetation.
Right.
So neither property windows looking into the other.
Is this
property.
visible?
I mean, you can't see anything there.
Yeah, just show.
Okay, so I need to stop sharing and reshare. I just brought up Google Maps so you can see the neighboring house. I'll stop sharing and reshare, and you should be able to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's hard to see. Yeah. Anyways, this is a study session, so we can have these kind of conversations. Let's see, go back to your plan again, so that, you know, is something we'll see next time. What about the dormers? Can you go back to your either roof plan, or it's a cross section to the attic area, I think. Just have curious question. There's 3 dormers. One of them, obviously, you were very creative in using as a stair case, right? That extends to get daylight. What about the other 2? What are those? Yeah.
Yeah, the one at the stairway is for daylight, but also headroom.
Right.
I mean,
right. Understood. What about these 2? What about the other 2?
Get to where it turns 90 degree, that's where it hits about 8 feet. And the other 2 just completes the architecture. I grew up in the West. We grew up with Cape Cod style homes, and it's about symmetry and cottagey feeling. So I wanted to just bring some natural light into that lower dining area and just make it it's got volume. So we're going to just let the ceiling slope. So why not take advantage of that?
Oh, you won't be able to see through them.
I see.
These will bring light into this space below.
There's no wall at the stair. The stair will be an open balustrade all the way up. So that whole space is going to be open volume, and coming from a tiny 1-story home, that'll really make a big difference how the home lives.
Yeah, it was hard to understand the plan, that's all. So those are actually skylights or clerestory lights that bring light down into the floor below. I see. I get it now. I understand you. All right, that's it. I think a cross section as well might be helpful. Okay, thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Eugene. Other questions, Glenn?
No questions by me.
Okay, I do have a question. I understand the Cape Cod aesthetic and your comment that the sloped roof would recede as seen from ground level. But I would like to understand from you why you felt it was necessary to put that main ridgeline that high up. I mean, could that roof work the same if it were a few feet lower? Would that still work functionally?
Going back to the stair, where the stair makes a 90-degree angle at the second landing, at that point, I think the height off the upper landing might be 7.5 feet, 8, maybe 8 feet at the most. So you have to go, there's no distance from that landing to the outside wall in order to get enough headroom there. If you make it a shallower pitch, the stair would have to move into the center of the house, and you wouldn't get any room for the bedrooms, quite honestly. I looked at coming more central, just a straight run central, and the existing footprint isn't that wide to accommodate double loading it any other way.
Okay, well, that makes sense. I think we'd probably like to
yeah.
see a section that explains that.
Yeah, and we can do stuff like pitch breaks and things like that, but why draw attention to it? That's kind of my feeling on that one.
I didn't have any other specific questions. So with that, we can open the meeting to public comment. So if we could ask you to stop sharing the screen, please. Members of the public are invited to speak for up to 3 minutes, if there are any. Nancy?
There are no attendees.
All right, and Noah did reflect the comment from the next door neighbor who is not choosing to speak this evening, but did submit a written comment. All right, then with that, we can move on to commissioner comments. Eugene started last time. Glenn, you want to speak first this time?
I will speak first this time. So I have good and I have bad to say about this. Okay, I like the design. I like the Cape Cod. I like the way that they oriented things to try to minimize the visual impacts to the next door neighbor's yard. So, and work with the creek. What I don't like is that I moved to Contra Costa County 45 years ago. Moraga Boulevard at that time was like the beginner homes. Move into Moraga Boulevard because that's the only thing you can afford in Lafayette because it's expensive. And if we convert all these 2-bedroom, 1-bath homes into larger homes, we have basically eliminated affordable housing in Lafayette. And if you're an advocate for affordable housing, you say to yourself is, well, you know, am I singling out this house versus the rest of the neighborhood? And I would say, no, you're not. Because most of Moraga Boulevard on that section of Moraga Boulevard is 1-story homes. And while you have gracefully shown many 2-story homes, I will tell you that 964th Street was built in 1994. It was an empty lot. It had nothing else in it. 963 4th Street was built in 2001. It was an empty lot. It never had anything else in it. 967 4th Street was recently built. It was an empty lot. It had nothing else in it. 974th Street was built in 1999. It was an empty lot. It had no other building that was ever in it. 972 4th Street was an empty lot built in 1999 and never had another home in it. 977, you know, basically what you're seeing is the homes that are 2 stories were not conversions of 1-story homes into 2 stories. They were new construction on lots that were empty. And so my opinion as commissioner is that I think the city should continue to have affordable housing, and I'm not an advocate for having a 2-story house in this neighborhood. That's it.
Okay, thanks, Glenn. Eugene, your comments?
Yeah, thanks, Glenn, for your historical observations. That's really helpful. So on my side, what I would like to tell the applicants is that we are very, very strict about variances and additional things that require, things that don't meet the current code. And so we cannot give an exception to any applicant without very, very compelling reasons and findings. So I just wanted to let you know, if you are wanting to pursue this, you as an applicant and application need to submit us a substantial, very robust, very beneficial project that will obviously be helpful to the city and the neighbors around. So your design has to be at the highest level. It's going to be a high level of expectation. So my concern is right now on the building of the second story with its relationship to the adjacent neighbor's property on the right side. We're talking about right side, that's where the fireplace is, I believe. And that elevation needs a lot of work. And also, this stylistic notion of formalism, making things work to achieve a visual look. Yeah, I've been through the postmodern era, and I'm not a proponent, but I'm not, against it either. Obviously, to achieve a certain look on that street to address the massing issue. So I think that's very creative on your part to try to do the quote unquote Cape Cod style. But here's the thing. I do want to make sure that when you do that, you need to study the context from which you're doing this. So the adjacent properties, the houses, one block on either side, the houses on either side is important. How you cross section across, and Chairman Gray will allude to this. We need to just see more contextual drawings from your application, all right? Cross sections, longitudinal section. And I think also Glenn would always address that landscape component as well. Okay, and I do appreciate Glenn's concerns here, Chairman, Commissioner Cass's concerns as well. So you need to provide a very compelling project here to seek variances if you are requesting that. If you don't think you can achieve that kind of a wow look and super sensitive outcome of your design, then I think you need to take away that variance issue and work within the confines. And then also think about the massing and relationship with the context around your project. That's it. Thank you, Chair, for the time.
Thank you, Eugene. Okay, so my comments first regarding the variance requests. Eugene's points are well taken. If we consider variances, the bar that we look at is, can this property be developed reasonably to the standard of the surrounding properties without requesting a variance? And if the answer is the variance really is necessary to get the value of the land, then it will be considered. If the project can be achieved reasonably without the variance, we would probably not grant the variance. I am not convinced about the fireplace justifying a variance request because number one, it's, I think, fairly easy to do without it. And number two, it happens to impose more substantially on your neighboring property owner. I'm probably a little more sympathetic to the variance request on the street frontage because I agree with you that it does improve the architecture with the ability to do the roof form, and it does not seem as significant an imposition on anybody else. I do understand that the property is constrained. You do not have the full ability to use all that land because of the creek and the slope. Other comments, the neighbor's privacy concern is something that we would be concerned about as well. And when you come back to us, I would like you to demonstrate how the neighbor's privacy is not being substantially impacted. I understand that on the facade facing that property, your east facade, you have no upper story windows, and that certainly is appreciated as not impacting their privacy. However, the windows that face the backyard, I'd like to understand, we would like to understand if there is any sightline issue from those windows into their outdoor space. I can't, from this presentation, I'm not sure of that. If you are able to reduce the ridge height and still get your headroom, I think that I would like to see if that's possible, but I do understand your logic. I think that the use of the little gable dormers on the front is kind of a creative answer to achieving some light and space and scale to the street. So I would like to see that, if you can get your headroom with your ridge height a little less, that would be great. Context drawings, please. As Eugene said, I think we'll want to see elevation drawings that show your neighbor, your next door neighbor, and the height there. All the houses on this portion of Moraga Boulevard are single story. You have to get a little further away when they're not. That said, I will respectively at least partially disagree with some of Glenn's comments. I do not believe that it's in our purview. As much as we appreciate affordable housing, I do not think that we have the authority to restrict what a property owner can do on their land if it's complying with zoning and with the design guidelines. I would like to see more affordable housing in Lafayette, but I don't think we can put that on you. Those are my comments. So we look forward to seeing you next time. And thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Well, next on our agenda, because there are no continued public hearings or new hearings, we have one other business item, and that is an ARC volunteer for this Friday the 15th. Actually, Friday is the 16th. No, it is the 15th. Never mind. Friday the 15th.
I can do it.
All right.
Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you, Glenn. And with that, do we have any reports from staff?
No, I just wanted to let you know I didn't forget about the site visit that you had mentioned a couple months back to put it on the agenda in May or June. I did find out from the Brennan building that they are quite a ways, maybe at least a month away from final inspection. So as it comes near, I'll put it on the agenda.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Nancy. There is not an item here for commissioner reports. We rarely have any, but I might as well ask commissioners, any report from either of you?
No.
Me neither. So with that, we are done this evening. I thank you all. Welcome, Noah. Good job.
Yeah.
And we will see you all next time.
Yeah. Welcome.
Okay.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Greg.